Hello everybody, welcome to this playthrough for Master Division in the Vintage Open Tournament. The video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. Let's go! Before I take the first shot here, do not forget that you can be a subscriber here to the channel, getting a notification every time there is a new video. And so forth. So, first shot here, using a Centurion Ball. Centurion Ball is a wind resistance 4 with a power 3. It is okay to play with a power 3 ball as well, or you can play with a power 4 ball like a Dead Ball, Royal Ball, and so on. I'm backing up using half of the blue ring inside the rough on the right, and you can see that I backed up basically just before we start by using the plus yard marks. Using a 1-to-1 adjustment with Apocalypse level 7, but if you play with another Apocalypse or another driver, you play 20% extra. Using one ball just outside the adjustment ring there to the right with approximately 50% overpower. And once again, have in mind, the lower leveled driver you have, the more topspin you will have to do. Now we're getting into the center of the fairway here in 379 yard mark. And you can see that it's uphill, and this uphill adjustment is going to be tricky because it depends so much on like how far you roll in, like down there in that hole or whatever. If you roll more like longer, then we're going to go and we're going to have a wedge, and then the wedge is going to be tougher in my opinion than playing with a short iron. So I rather want to go a little bit short, and I'm going to try to replicate that situation as much as possible. So I'm going to have a short iron in minimum distance, and short iron in minimum distance, that one is for those of you that play Master. I do believe that the majority of you do enjoy a minimum distance short iron more than using a max distance wedge. So you can see here I'm very close to minimum, which makes it easy. 4 bars of backspin, aiming straight at the hole, no side spin, getting the ball to go through the hole, and that's important. Make it go through the hole and rely on the ball guideline. This is a Thorn level 8, and of course if you want to play with a Hornet you do that. Then I'm going to play it under adjusted 15%, so minimum minimum distance with a 15% under adjustment, and then we're gonna take our shot. Coming in very nicely, dead center at the pin, lovely, and that's a boom for sure. Hole number 1, super important for us to get an eagle. If we do not get an eagle, we're definitely going to lose a shot if we're going to compete for the win. Or let's say like this, then we need to drop something else. So then we go to hole number 2. Hole number 2, I'm going to play with a Kingmaker this time around. And I'm going to play with a sniper, definitely not the big dog. I don't really know why our opponent is using the big dog. I think and hope that's a mistake. Otherwise, playing with a big dog here is definitely not going to be helpful. So sniper here, I'm playing with a power 3 ball, in this case a Kingmaker. You can play with another ball if you want to. You can play with more wind resistance. You know, for those of you that has a Centurion, you can play with a Centurion as it gives you more wind resistance. But that's very much a special ball, so a Kingmaker is better to play with here. So I'm going to start up by taking a look to try to find a good landing position here. So I'm going to use, in this case, going to go down a little bit more, going to go with a 5.5 bar backspin depending on the wind. In this case we are having 5 bar backspin. I'm gonna pull down here, so look at the blue ring just at the edge with the ball, second bounce just over the fringe here. Then we're going to adjust it for 1-to-1, so 11.3 rings for 11.3 miles per hour. Hit this ball perfect. I'm gonna get it to bounce. I'm gonna get close. Get in! Ah! Oh my god, we took a 360 there. Super close. Definitely a good opportunity in my opinion. Hole number 3. Now I'm going to play with 6 bars of topspin. Doesn't matter if I do have more to use. The reason I do want to play with 6 bars is that I do not want to go long. And I do not, of course, want to go short either. We do want to be able to bounce over the water. I'm adjusting for 1-1 -1 here, which is going to give myself 10.2 rings. Max overpower and as much curl to the right as possible. The ball you saw there is a ball that you can win in the Clan League, but it's the same type of ball as the Kingmaker X. So the only thing that you should be focusing here is to give yourself a power 4 ball with wind resistance 3. And if you do have a side spin 2 or 3 ball like a Deadbolt, Royal Ball, and also then a Kingmaker X, then that's way enough. That's absolutely enough. So I'm using, as a starting point for my drive, I'm using the red ring by the rough on the right. It gives me room to hit great right, it gives me room to hit great left and still get over to the other fairway. Now we reached a little bit more than 400 yards, and once again I'm talking about yardage, and yardage when you play Master is super important, as if you can get to a spot where you make a good shot, or for that matter a bad shot, but especially a good shot, then you can replicate and play that shot one more time. But you of course need to hit the ball perfect. Now you can see I'm very close to maximum distance of the thorn, and I'm kind of like, and you know, in this case I can use the Goliath, which is good. 2 bars of topspin and a couple of bars side spin to the right. I like to have a straight ball guideline here. Then we're going to adjust for minimum numbers, which is 4.5 rings. And once again, when I get to adjust here and I see the ball guideline that is going to be bounced on the green, then I'm going to back up approximately half a ring. I'm gonna back up because I'm going to gain a little bit of distance once I'm adjusting up there onto the green. If I do not make that push down, it's going to be a risk for me getting into, what can I say, it's going to be a risk for me of bouncing directly on the fairway, then I'm going to bounce over and get into the rough, and that sucks. Hole number 4. Hole number 4, I'm going to play with the Guardian with a Kingmaker here, and this is a method in, like, work in progress, I would say. The thing, and the reason I want to play with this one, is for you to understand how much a compressed ball guideline is going to matter. When having the Guardian here, I'm using the second bounce to be at the pin with a 2-bar backspin only. So if we would be having a 0 wind, we would be missing the hole completely. But due to the headwind, we're gonna get this ball to stop pretty nicely, but we do need a little bit more backspin. We also need to do something that is a little bit strange for a hole, is that we need to offset our guide, as we missed way to the left here. Like, not way, but a little bit too much to the left than I was happy with. So approximately 1 square to the right of the pin, combined with using 2.5 bar backspin, then that adjustment is going to be good. And there is people playing rough bump and stuff, and I'm going to try it out myself before I'm going to suggest it. So if you see me playing a rough bump further ahead in the tournament, then please ask if you want to know the adjustment. But I'm going to try it first and see if it's going to work for me. Hole number 5, super tough hole. Super tough hole. We're gonna see a lot of players doing like our opponent did, going to miss the eagle here by making a birdie. And if you do, don't be that mad at yourself, because once again it's a very tough par 5. And if you can play with a power 4 ball, it's going to help you, especially with the second shot, but also with the drive. And I'm playing with a power 3 ball here, putting myself with 1 bar of backspin and as much side spin to the left as possible, trying to align my drive here to be approximately straight at the trees there on the left, and then gonna take my shot. I'm going to go max overpower here, using curl as well to the left. You can see I'm taking off a little bit of curl, using approximately 1.5 ball curl outside the adjustment ring to the left. Now you can see we're getting a lot of side spin to the left here. We're getting very close to the rough, so we might want to consider reducing a little bit of side spin. And also, if we're going to play with a Kingmaker, we might need to take away a little bit of the backspin, going with half a bar of backspin instead. But once again, if you play with a power 4 ball, so much easier second shot. Because even though we are close to the left and gained a decent amount of yards, we're still going to have a hard time to get this ball to the green. The drive is going to be 10% downhill, super important to have that in mind. So, now you can see having Cataclysm level 6, 180 yards, but you can also see that this is going to be an overpowered shot. I'm using 1 bar backspin, but I would say stay away from the backspin and don't, stay away from the backspin. It's unnecessary. We just want this ball to go to the green. There isn't a rough bump here that I could consider be playable or like a decent way to play. You can see here I'm adjusting, and we are very, very close to max overpower. And I would say like I'm almost a max overpower here. We rely so much on hitting this ball perfect. I do use a little bit of counter curl to the left to compensate for a great right, and we get into the green and have no problem to make the eagle. But 2 overpowered shots to even get to the green, that's super tough. So really have that in mind when you play hole number 5. Don't be too hard on yourself, but really, really focus when you're playing hole number 5. You get a slight mistake with the driver second shot, you have a rough iron, you have a sandwich, but also if you mess up the drive, you have no chance whatsoever, and I would say it's impossible for you to reach for the green in 2. Hole number 6, par 4. Our opponent's going to play with a power 3 ball. I'm going to play with a power 3 ball. The difference is that I'm going to play with another club than a quarterback. I like this shot with a quarterback though. I really do. I don't think it's anything wrong with it. It's just that I don't like to overpower a shot that is not in max distance. I don't see the point with it. Then I rather want to tweak to another, a different way, to play. And you can see here playing with Apocalypse level 6. And we're gonna get up there to the right. That's the goal. So I'm going to use 3 bars of side spin to the right with 3 bars of top spin. Aiming straight down there. And the side spin to the right is to help our ball get the push to the right that we do want, or at least compensate for a great left. Then I'm gonna adjust for maximum distance with 5%, only 5% over adjustment. And here it is super important that we do hit the ball perfect. With a great shot, we cannot really rely on the ball staying on fairway without having a little bit of luck. Comes in very nicely, and now you can see we are below the hill there, and you can see the pin in the view there. Like when we cannot see the pin, we're definitely going to play this shot uphill. And then it's just to decide to how to play this shot. Like where to aim, because the problem we get is that when we aim on the fairway there, that one is bumpy, and the thing that I'm going to look for is to adjust on the bottom left, not exactly bottom left, but close to it. And the reason for doing so is that I do believe that that bounce is going to give us the most consistent result. Not something that I can go and just drop it in for an eagle, but makes the best possible way there. And this is not going to be an easy eagle whatsoever. It's not going to be an easy birdie either, but at least we should be able to play this ball in a way so we could secure the birdie. But to take the second shot adjustment uphill, we're going to play it uphill when we are before the hill, minus 10%, super important. So when you see it like that, you can press the take shot button to see how much do I see the pin. If you don't see the pin and just see the box, then it's uphill. That's a pretty easy way to determine that. 10% uphill, and in this case I'm using as much side spin to the left possible with 2.5 bar backspin. And then we're going to play this shot in minimum distance with a 10% under adjustment, as I said. The only problem we get here is that we're not offsetting anything for the strong crosswind we're having. So naturally, we're gonna miss this ball to the right of the pin. So the thing that we'll have to do is to either over adjust our shot a little bit with the rings, or we need to offset the ball guideline approximately half a square to the left. To the right. Oh, no, sorry, to the left of the pin. To the left, we have the left-right win. Okay. Hole number 7. a par 5 where I would say we need to get an eagle on. It's going to be a tough one, but we need to get it. And how to get it then? Yeah, it's going to be super tough. So this is a par 5 that's definitely going to make the scores be not lower, be higher, as we cannot see this par 5 as a general eagle hole. We're going to see more birdies than we're going to see eagles. So if you find a way to make an eagle on this one, consider yourself, not of course with skill, but like consider yourself a little bit lucky, because that's awesome. Max distance, 4 bars of topspin and 2 bars of side spin to the right. Aiming straight forward, I'm going to adjust my drive for 10% extra with max numbers. And the only thing that I'm going to try to do here is to get myself as close to the top as possible. If you want, you can definitely play with a power 4 ball. The thing that I would say, if you do have several accounts, but also if you will find a way to try to replicate the shot, try to play with a ball that gives you the same type of like adjustments. I'm thinking about the third shot, because it's going to be a slight difference playing with a power 4 ball and a power 3 ball, depending on, of course, where you land. Oh my god, all those... So, okay, second shot now, don't play with a sniper, please. You need to play with a Cataclysm or a big dog. And I would prefer the Cataclysm, as when you play Master, you most likely have the Cataclysm in level 3, 4 at least. But if you do have the big dog level 8, the big dog could be a better club, as we do value distance, but also topspin as stats, or like power and topspin, to gain as much distance as absolutely possible here on the fairway. So, our turn. Cataclysm level 6, we do have a good amount of topspin here. Using it all to try to stay away from having to use any overpower whatsoever. And I'm going to stretch out a little bit to see how will the ball guideline react further ahead. And then turn the screen around, adjust my rings, which in this case is going to be 6.5 rings. Then we pull it up to max distance again, if we are losing a little bit distance by using the rings there. And then I'm going to try to stay away from having to overpower. If you do want to use a little bit of overpower, then you can do so. You don't have to, still gonna gain enough distance. The important part is to try to get yourself into the position so you can use the same type of reference. That's why I took a screenshot there to see and analyze. I landed there, and now my third shot, I'm going to play it like that. Did I miss lefty or miss right? Did I get it in? And then tweak it from there. That's a way to get to where you want to in the weekend round, where you feel that this, like a shot like this, is something that you can dial in, because we can. It's just, of course, that we do need to hit the shot perfect to be able to count it as a good reference in any form. So our opponent gets, kind of close or whatever, but for our turn now, and now I'm going to play this one a little bit wrong. I'm going to play this one in medium distance of my club, which is the wrong measurement here. We do need to play this one in between medium and maximum distance here. That's at least what my gut and my feeling tells me from looking at where the ball is. And playing in between medium and maximum distance means that, let's say you have the medium distance adjustment says 4 rings and the maximum distance adjustment says 6 rings. Then you're going to play it 5 rings. Now we're gonna miss this one actually a lot on the left, but that is because we only play it medium distance. So hole 7 though needs to be an eagle, in my opinion. That's at least my goal with it, that hole number 7 is going to have to be an eagle for myself. Hole number 8, par 3. Here I would say the Rocket is a very good club to play with, and the Rocket here is going to give you the help that you need to get the ball to stop on the green. The thing that you can do if you possess a lot of Wind 5, Power 1, Power 0 balls, then you can go with a rough bump. I still need to try that one out a little bit more before I suggest it, but I might going to share that later in the tournament. Hit back a lot of backspin with the rocket. Rocket level 10, not rocket level 9. So rocket level 10, max backspin, and then aim for getting the ball up towards the pin. I'm using a Centurion ball here to see if we're going to be able to adjust the amount of rings with a Power 3 ball without going in between clubs. Max backspin, letting the tip of the ball guideline be approximately, in this case, 4 squares before the pin. But I would like to push this one up a little bit more to be like 2 squares before the pin. 2 to 3 squares is going to be good. Then we're going to adjust minimum distance, but you can see we're just in between clubs. And if you do get in between clubs, don't forget to adjust the backspin to maximum again, as the maximum is going to be changed due to the club below you. Max backspin, and we'll get it to bounce, so you can see we're getting it to stop a little bit short, but like very nice and easy for a birdie. Very tough par 3 to get an hole-in-one on. Hole number 9, par 4. We're gonna end up with a par 4, and I'm going to use max topspin, Power 4 ball, and here I would say a Power 4 ball is super important. Absolutely possible with a Kingmaker as well with a Power 3 ball. But oh my god, it's going to help you tremendously playing with a Power 4 ball here. I'm using the blue ring as a reference when it comes to by the rough there. Max overpower, max curl right. We do want to stay as close to the right side as possible. And this is a shot that is absolutely a possibility to make a hook, like a slice shot on, if you don't feel confident enough to play with overpower. Because the fact is, if you do aim too close to the right side, and we hit maybe a massively bad drive on the right side, like a great or a good shot, then we could possibly be staying in the rough there, and then we need to lay up and possibly miss the birdie and make a par. But now with that drive and a Power 4 ball will be no problem for me to reach for the green. And now we're going to play with a Guardian. Guardian is the key club for the second shot here. We do need the backspin. And there will probably be someone that asks like, oh, can't you play like with a sniper maxed out or something? Yeah, you can, but you do need the distance and you do need the backspin. And Guardian is a perfect club because it has both of it. 11.6, and you can see here I'm using a max backspin approach. And something that we do need to think about here is that we're going to have an extra push from the wind to the right. So we do need to aim ourselves so it's going to bounce down to the right. So we do basically need to use the tip of the ball guideline to be aligned with the pin to get the correct roll towards the green. But it's hard to estimate that one with this ball guideline. Then I'm going to adjust for maximum numbers, no over adjustment and no under adjustment whatsoever. Slight overpower, not much, but slight overpower as we got into overpower situation. Bounce there on the green and bounce back, and we did miss there. And just as a correction, not with having the ball guideline aligned with the pin, have it a little bit more to the left of the pin than play. Everyone, thank you so much for watching the playthrough for Master Division in the Vintage Open Tournament. You can check down in the video description to get the direct timestamps. Also the link to patreon.com/golf-tommy for text guides, training sessions and etc. Also, if you do want to get the link to the other playthroughs, you can find them in the video description as well. And of course, make a comment if you need any assistance and questions, and I will be happy to help you out. Before you go, hit the thumbs up if you like the content. Thank you so much. Video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic, so good luck in the Vintage Open Tournament.